Thursday of Kirsty Does Stuff, and tonight, as you can see, we're losing the light a little bit just now, but I'm going to make a start. I have, I was going to say hundreds, but it's not hundreds at all. It's maybe about 30 Amaryllis bulbs. Now, way back in September, I should have unpotted them all, let them dry out and stored them in the garage until Christmas time, when they would come out and flower beautifully after a wee rest, but I didn't get round to doing it, so I'm going to do it now. There's different schools of thought whether you should unpot them or you could leave them in the pot, just put them in the garage or a cold storage place so they go dormant, and then later on when you're going to repot them you can clean them up and pot them on and give them some food and put them in a warm place for them to start producing leaves and flowers. I've sort of neglected mine a little bit, and having them still in the garden this late is a bit of a testament to that. So I think some of them probably have gone mushy, but I'll be able to tell. I'll have a look just now and see what I can find. I'm just hoping it's not raining because it looks really wet out there. That would put me off a bit. They're all on the ground outside. I'm gonna pull them out of their pots, have a feel, see if they're firm, and if they are, I shall, is that better? It's out of focus. If they're nice and firm and they look okay and healthy, then I'm going to put them in a cardboard box till they dry out. And when they're dry, I'll cover them with some sort of pet bedding shavings and leave them there for a wee while. And this will give them time. Hopefully during the summer, they photosynthesized a lot. They got lots of energy from the sun and from the rain and the natural elements. And there was food in when I potted them up anyway. So hopefully they'll be okay. Then I can repot them and they'll look beautiful. Might have to repot them a bit later than Christmas time to get the best results if they've had a bit of a rest. I think technically you're meant to leave sort of 3 months rest. But some people leave it a lot longer, they get really good results. So we shall see, we shall see. Right, I'm going to go outside and see what we've got. Put some gloves on, hopefully it's not raining, and I can make a start before it gets really dark. See you in a minute. Okay, they're kind of spread out in different places. Some down here, some round here, and quite a few over here and up there. As you can see, they're looking horribly neglected. Some of them don't have great drainage. That one's filled with water. That looks like it's going to be very squishy, but I'll try and get something to work on, unpot them all. I've long since lost the labels of what's what, but hopefully we can save some. And for Christmas time, I'll probably have to buy a few new ones. Okay, right, what I'm going to do is unpot them, have a wee look at the bulb, have a wee squish, see if it's viable, and if it is, we'll put them where we're going to put them, just to dry out. They should be like a cardboard tray or something. But this is kind of ultimately what I would store them in. So it's a cardboard box with these sort of pet bed chippings in, and that sort of extracts a bit of moisture so it doesn't they don't rot, but not enough to make them shrivel up. But I'll store them in here initially just to let them dry out. Here's number one, weeds and all. This has got a label actually. This is Nymph, which is a lovely one. I'll empty it out in my truck. Look at what I've used as drainage here, the little glass beads. Okay, so that's it. I've unpotted them all. Some are in better shape than others. Some smelt like death itself. They'd rotted. Some have been chewed a little bit, but the vast majority are still firm. So I'm going to give it a go. I shall. Oh, that's just slimy. The skin gets, when it's rotting, it gets so slimy. So I'm going to try and find a suitable receptacle to lie them in so the air can circulate and they can dry out, and then we'll see how they look in a few weeks. They'll need, you know, minimum 3 months to sort of hibernate, if you like, to build up the energy and to make sure the bulbs are all viable. I've got a good few here. If there's rot in one, it will probably progress through the bulb and then we can see for sure and throw it away. But at the moment, there's a lot of firm ones here, slightly chewed, slightly waterlogged, but still firm. That one's got a bit of a hole in the side, a bit of a hole in the other side, and some have got babies. There's quite a few little offshoot babies. But as I say, I'll lay them out on some newspaper or something in the garage, let the air circulate, and then after a few weeks we'll see what we've got. That's a bit of a soft bit there. But yeah, you're best saving what you've got. You can buy new fabulous varieties, but it's good to save what you've got and bring them on for another year. And there, you know, there is a method of doing it, way of doing it, which I'm a wee bit late to, but we shall still give it a go. We might, like this year, have Amaryllis all the way through the year. You never know. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I shall be showing you these in a few weeks' time. See what we've got. They might have all turned to mush. You don't know. But now it's dark, so I'm going inside. So take care. See you later. Bye-bye. Okay, it's a few weeks later now in the Amaryllis world, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with the stuff that we put into storage. Now, at first, I just want to show you my new chair, because I featured it in the last video and I had a few comments saying, you know, you didn't say anything about the chair. So this is it here. I'll turn this around. Hang on. And I absolutely love it. It's got little fruit trees all over it. It's kind of a velvety, plush velvety stuff. It's got little casters on the feet at the bottom. And we were looking for a chair for here that suited the room, but there would be a great reading chair that you could just sit and relax in, or chat if somebody's on the sofa. So came across this one at a wander in Stockbridge in Edinburgh the other week there, and it was in a shop called Zebra something, and they had a few different armchairs like this, and I saw one with leaves on it originally and I thought, I like that, but I don't know if I want to spend 400 quid on it, not sure. And then just as we were leaving, there was this one with the trees on it and I fell in love. I thought, oh, that's my chair. So we kind of came back and told the chap, you know, we bought it, and told the chap, and came back with the car about 10 minutes later and picked it up, and I do love it. It's very comfortable and it's just perfect for here, so very chuffed with that. Right, onto the garage we go. Now, so where the last video stopped with the Amaryllis bulbs that I had taken out of the pots and was resting in the garage, we've got a box of them and we've also got a tray of them. So here we go. I'll just turn this round. So this is the tray of the bulbs. So this has worked really well. I've got some pet bedding in the bottom here, which absorbs the water really well, because they were kind of damp because they'd been outside in pots and just sitting in water, some of them, because the pots didn't have any drainage holes. but here they've managed to dry off and just be dormant. And they should really do this for, that's a bit squidgy. That one feels a bit squidgy. They should really lie like this for 3 months in the dark. But I saw a video the other day that somebody had just kept their amaryllis bulbs in pots. They'd gone dormant by themselves, and then they just started to grow again when they fancied it. So I thought, why not pop one up just now and see how we get on with it. I'll show you the box. So these are the ones that I just put in a box when my tray was full, or the other way around. Some of them do feel a wee bit squidgy. Some of them feel quite firm. So I might take one of the bigger ones and try potting it up and see what happens. See if it'll start sprouting once it's in the warm house. So I'll pick one, or should I pick a couple? That one was quite good, that's a wee bit squidgy. Oh, here's a big one. Oh, that's massive. We'll definitely do that one. And what about one of these? Not squidgy. Oh, very strong, very good. Right, we'll do this one, and we'll do these two. Okay, when I thought that the amaryllis that I had weren't going to be ready in time, and I quite fancied something flowering for Christmas, I went out and bought a couple of new ones. Now, both of them, they're quite different. This one, and I can't even remember which variety I've got, but I tend to go for the sort of pinky ones or the white ones, that kind of thing. This one came exactly like this. So they'd potted it up in compost that's got some kind of perlite in it. It looks like the coir stuff. It's got little fibres in it, can you see? Maybe a little bit of growth. The bit that's cut down is starting to come up a little bit. When I got it, it's been in our warm sitting room. It's had a little drizzle of water, not much because it's not showing much growth yet. You don't want to overload it, but it's quite a handy little pot with drainage holes in there that it's never going to be overwatered in that. So that's good. That's quite a nice one. You said that this is one I bought from my friend that I repotted and gave to her today, because the pot that was in there was plastic. So I went out and got a nice pot and potted it up for her. So that'd be a nice housewarming gift, or a nice Christmas gift to give to somebody, a potted amaryllis. They love it, and it's very low maintenance. They don't have to do anything with it. So if they're not planty people, doesn't matter. They still get the benefits. Right, so that's that one. That there. This one's a bit different. This is, I'll tilt it, see if you can see. It's got sort of pebbles in the bottom, and it doesn't actually give you very good instructions about how to water it. But I've had amaryllis in vases before, so I kind of just watered a bit at the bottom, and it kind of tends to wick up through these pebbles. So, but I've got to be careful because it can get a bit mouldy on the bottom, and you don't want that. But so far this guy's producing a bud already. Can you see? It had a little bit of green when I bought it, up to about here. So the leaves have grown. And now we've got a flower bud as well, which is very exciting. So that might flower for Christmas. You never know. So I'm just keeping them. This one's on the mantelpiece. The other one's just beside the window on the piano, but it doesn't get a huge amount of light, so they're not in direct light at all, but enough warmth to keep them growing. Now with this one, what I did with my friend's one, because it looks kind of plain like that on the top, I got some fake moss. This was from Temu and it was cheap as chips, and it's kind of like, it's not the most naturalistic product, but it actually looks nice when it's on top. So I'm just placing it round the Amaryllis bowl like this. Just place it round. You've got to water through it, remember, so you don't want too much. Just enough to sort of cover the soil on top. There we go. And then from Temu as well, I also got tiny little, very cute pine cones. So just take a wee handful of these and spread them on top as a wee sort of decorative touch. And then all of a sudden, especially if it's a gift, your Amaryllis goes from being not quite growing yet to looking like something quite cute. Oops, I've dropped one. Can you see that? I think that's a much nicer gift. It's also nice in your own home. It's really cute. And then when it starts growing, you'll have another point of interest. So that's just a wee thing. Oh, I've lost my pine cone, I'll pick it up. So that's just a wee idea. So you can pick up an Amaryllis for, well, they come in different prices, but supermarket Amaryllis maybe for about £6. And then you could repot it in a nice pot and put a wee decorative touch to the top. Wee gift tag, lovely present. Now, these are the guys that I brought in from the garage. This one still has a massive root system, which I could cut down, but it's starting to grow a little bit at the top here, which is very encouraging. And this one also has a decent root system. I don't think we've got any growth yet, but they're both firm, which is the main thing. So there's no rot in there. Hopefully once they get a little bit of heat applied to them, that they'll start to grow in earnest. So I'm going to just have a wee look around for suitable pots to put them in. And we'll put new potting media, just houseplant compost really. Some food. We could maybe even have a little bit of mycorrhizal fungi to help the roots grow even more. And that'll get them off to a good start. Fingers crossed. Okay, so I found these two pots that you probably saw me about 5 minutes ago in the video taking Amaryllis out of. These were sold in these decorative pots 1 year, can't remember when. So they've got no drainage holes, so you have to be really sparing with how you water them so they don't get waterlogged. But I'm going to give them a wee wash at the sink and then we'll start to pot up these guys. Okay, hello. So that's done and I'm really pleased with the results. One of them, as I say, has a shoot or a hint of a growing already, so I'm very pleased with that. So that's this one. I think it looks cute. I think it looks really sweet. So there you go, you can see the wee growing tip there. And we shall leave this be. I don't think I'm going to water it until it's sort of actively growing for a little while, because I remember when I worked at the garden centre that Amaryllis, if they were in boxes, you know, the stems would try and grow through the box, so they had no moisture, they had no light, they were trying to find the light by growing out of the box, but they still grew because all the energy that you need is stored in the bulb. Last year, whoever was, not these ones obviously because that was me growing them, But what I did was I fed up the bulb during the growing season, gave it slow release fertilizer, gave it other fertilizers, which helped build up the bulb for this year. Also then they go outside, they're exposed to all the weather, including hopefully some sunshine, and that the leaves are still there, they're still photosynthesizing, all the energy made goes back into the bulb, the leaves die down and they go dormant for a while. Then all that energy that's stored in the bulb bursts out, hopefully this year. These haven't had a proper rest period as seen. They've only been in the garage for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks maybe at most, and it should really be 3 months. But on looking at advice from other people, perhaps they don't need to go dormant like that in a cool place with no light for that length of time. Maybe they will just flower again on the energy that they've built up over the summer. But we'll see, we'll see. It looks like it's growing anyway, so I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm a wee bit nervous about, can you see the red on here? There is a disease that affects Amaryllis, and it normally shows up in the leaves as a red sort of streak, and I think it's treatable, and I'm not quite sure of the effects, but I'll have a wee look and I'll put some information up about it. But we'll see if this has got it, and if so, how it's going to affect it. At the moment the bulb seems pretty healthy, so I'll just go with it, see what happens. The other one here, the bulb's really strong. It's more of a sort of elongated shaped bulb, and I've made them both sit quite proud out of the compost. The reason for that is it keeps the bulb from being wet all the time. It's exposed to the air, so it's not going to rot, because really you only sort of plant it in the compost a bit for the stability of the actual bulb, so it's not going to, because the flowers go way up, you know, Amaryllis, they can have really long stalks and really heavy leaves, so it can get really top heavy quite quickly, so you might need to put in some support later. But for the moment I'm having it sort of on the top of the soil like that. Will keep the bulb exposed and open to the air, keep it nice and healthy, and there's nothing growing out of that one yet, I don't think, but hopefully before long. I'm probably going to keep them in the sun lounge, because even though we've got a heater in here now, it's generally the coolest area of the house, especially overnight, so that will stop it shooting immediately if it's in a warm room. But hopefully it will give them a slow and gentle start to wake up and start producing some foliage. So I'm quite excited about that. I think that's a good move. I think, as ever with everything that I do, I tend to get carried away, and then I've got hundreds of them. I've got hundreds of orchids, I've got hundreds of Amaryllis bulbs, yeah, and then you can't take care of them all. So I think just by buying 2 new ones and having 2 old ones in pots to see how they get on just now. The other ones will do fine in the garage, just resting until we decide whether to pot them or not. And that might be something for next year, don't know. But they're going to be fine just now. If they're going to rot, like some of them are a wee bit squidgy, if they're going to rot, they're going to rot, and we'll just chuck them out. But I wish I'd, as I always say, I wish I was better at labelling, because there were certain varieties that were quite special that I had, that were more expensive. We bought one in Amsterdam once that was, we went to the Anne Frank house, and then yeah, we went to the Anne Frank house, and opposite it was, I think it was like the Dutch Tulip Museum or something, and they had some Amaryllis, and I bought a beauty in there. And I also bought a really lovely vase, because you can, sorry, the washing machine's going off. So you can put your Amaryllis, just sit them in a vase. It's got a little neck, and then water down below, and the roots go into the water. You can do that as well. I find that's a slower way to do it. It takes a while for them to get going, but I might do that with another one. So I haven't bought any special bulbs this year, any special Amaryllis. I've just relied on what I have, or supermarket fare, if you like. So I think that's enough to keep us going, and we'll see if we get any flowers for Christmas.